Very hot to handle. Definitely out of the fryer. Good morning, wherever you may be. Call me Felix. This morning is a beautiful morning in Bonifacio Global City. Everybody is out and about, walking their dogs, the fattest dogs in the Philippines, I might add, and spending a peaceful Saturday morning and, seeing joggers going around. But the only thing I have in my mind is to have breakfast at Jollibee. Now, full disclosure, I might have to surrender my Filipino card here because I tend to think that Jollibee is a bit overrated, and but I've only had it a couple of times, so I'm willing to try it here and see if it meets the hype. Does it meet the hype? Do I think it's still overrated? We'll find out. So we're here dining in at the Jollibee. It's only going to take 10 minutes to get our food. Sorry for all the noise here. Because this Jollibee location is right next to the Mind's Eye Museum here in Taguig. So what happens is a lot of field trips are conducted here. So even on a Saturday morning, you have a lot of kids, usually from the province, usually from the provincial schools here. And it can get really noisy. Dad really loves the filming on site rather than just taking it out at home in our condo. So there's a reason why we're filming it here, because, I don't know, we love the ambiance of noisy, rambunctious kids, I suppose. So before I did mention that I think Jollibee's overrated. Well, but to be fair, I've only had Jollibee 2 or 3 times. When Jollibee moved to California, when they opened up a California location where I lived 20 years ago, one of my high school friends worked there. And she brought home some Jollibee burgers. And, true to form, it had an identity crisis. It tasted, but it didn't even know if it was wanting to be a burger or meatloaf or embutido. It just never registered with me. It was just a freaky burger to me. And I didn't try the chicken joy then. So last 2 years, we've been here, we visit the Philippines every year, usually around November to December. That's where we are right now. So one time we went to El Nido and at the airport had a chicken joy meal, and I just thought, well, the chicken's been sitting out for too long, like 10 minutes or so, or 20 minutes, whatever it is. It was okay, passable. And plus we were going to the airport, trying to catch a flight to El Nido. I didn't really think about Jollibee or what the quality was. So then the second time, we had to eat Jollibee on the way to a bus journey to Ilocos Norte. So ate it on the bus. It had already been cold for about 1 or 2 hours. It was okay. But now, we're getting our food fresh, and so we can give it a fair assessment. And all our food has arrived now, so let me see. I got here a burger steak. I'm going to move this coffee out of the way. Oh, it's just a small coffee. 1 order of Jollibee spaghetti. 2 mango peach pies for dessert. I think it's some corned beef or carne norte. That's right there. And then some beef tapa. And then, of course, you have to get some fried chicken. So we got an 8-piece chicken joy bucket with 4 pieces of spicy, 4 pieces of regular. And I asked specifically for thighs. 2 thighs and 6 drumsticks. So first up, I'm going to try the corned beef hash with some egg and some, I think it's garlic rice, so I can see flecks of garlic there. Let's try and poke this a bit. Oh, the egg is pretty much cooked all the way through. So first bite of the meal, I'm going to take some garlic rice and some corned beef and some egg, and I'll give it a try. Corned beef has a nice texture to it, quite a little firm, slightly chewy. You can tell that it didn't really come from a can, because usually the can has a lot of fat in it, or a little bit of fat in there. You need a bit of that egg to add some creaminess to it, and of course you need some rice to add, a little more body there. Pretty solid choice here. So one of the most highly recommended items here for breakfast is the beef tapa. Now, to be fair, I tried to order this one time here at Jollibee, and they ran out before 10 a.m. So come here around 7 or 8 a.m. to try to get the crispy. Why I keep on saying crispy? The beef tapa, tender, marinated pieces of beef here. Same old egg. That's not quite sunny side up. It's sunny side up, but its yolk is cooked, and some garlic rice. It has nice marinated beef smell. I think I'll just try the beef with some rice. It does meet the hype, actually. Getting nice texture out of this. Nice little bit of fat. Very well marinated. With soy and some adobo seasoning. I can taste some vinegar in that. Good texture, not dry at all. And not too, moist or anything. I mean, as far as like saucy, it's just about the right body on that. And then let's try some with egg. All right, I'm gonna try a bite with a little bit of everything: some egg, some tapa, and some rice. There we go. And I got some nice creaminess to it, and of course, the more I chew, I get a little more of the seasoning. It's very well seasoned, and very well done. Definitely a premium breakfast item when you come here to Jollibee. Next up, I'll try the burger steak, which my father's already tried to devour into, so I might as well get a little bit of it. I'll take that mushroom out. Some gravy, some rice. Alright, give it a try. That burger actually really does taste like embutido. Which is kind of like a Filipino meatloaf. So there's a little bit of sweetness to it. There's actually a little moisture in there too, so it's a little bit juicy as well, surprisingly so. Actually quite nice. I tend to like it in this incarnation as a burger steak rather than as a hamburger, because again, when I'm eating a hamburger, I want to eat the pureness of the beef as well as the other ingredients. But this works just well with rice, some mushroom, and some, like a Salisbury steak. And then next up, I'm going to try this Jolly Spaghetti. Now, what you expect is that it's going to be a bit sweet because of the banana ketchup, and then they put some ground beef and some, sweet sausage here. So, expect something to be a bit sweeter than the tart spaghetti you're used to, like in the Western world. Not too sweet and not sugary sweet at all. Nice balance on that. Still get that tomato flavor that shines through. Noodles are pretty well done. Not quite al dente, but good enough. And then the beef mixture with the sausage, really nice savory components there. The highlight of the meals. Jollibee is absolutely famous for their fried chicken. We got about half and half that's regular and half that's spicy. I tried to film in here a couple days ago for breakfast, and we got a super fresh batch of chicken, and I could barely hold on to it, and it was such a difficult time to film it. So back here again to eat Jollibee fried chicken, and thankfully I can actually hold this, and it still should be I think it should be pretty excellent. Nice crunchy exterior, and I should expect it to be quite juicy. Let's give this one a try. And of course you need to dip it in some gravy as part of the experience. So I snagged off a piece of the chicken already. I can tell right now that it's not going to be super greasy. It's nicely fried. Juice isn't really bursting out of it yet. I think it's not absolutely fresh out of the fryer, but it's only been a few minutes out of the fryer. So I'm gonna give this a dip here. And give it a try. I don't know if it's just me, but what I think Jollibee regular fried chicken tastes like is it tastes similar to Popeyes. The only big difference really is that here, like I was mentioning earlier, it's not like hopped up with grease. Usually you eat Popeyes fried chicken back in the States, you know, you get like globs of grease when you eat through it, or globs of juice and grease when you eat through it. And that can kind of be a little bit unpleasant, right? But it's a nicely balanced fried chicken. The seasoning kind of reminds me of Popeye in some way, but not quite with like the same kind of Cajun seasoning or anything like that. All right, just tearing off a piece of the thigh. Nice moist meat. Nice skim there. With some gravy. So far, this is really the best fried chicken as far as like fast food goes. I would say I would prefer this to Popeye. I would say I prefer this to, definitely prefer it to KFC. Even though KFC's tastes, you know, unique for its herbs and spices and such. So almost midway through our meal, and we've, you know, polished up a couple pieces of chicken and this crispy, why I keep on saying crispy tapa? I always have crispy pata on my mind. Beef tapa's nearly done. I just want to say like a final impression about this. I kind of have the garlic rice flavors a little more, little less, it's a little watered down for my liking to remember that it's garlic rice, but I do taste it once I eat it by itself. But all put together, really, again, like I said, solid breakfast. I really like the texture of the meat, well varied, nice firmness, and then it has some nice meat to fat ratio. And, you know, I wish the egg was a little more, you know, uncooked and the yolk relatively intact in that regard. But all in all, very solid breakfast item. Corned beef is nearly done. Now I can't say it's better than Katz's corned beef in New York, but you can tell it's not, you know, canned corned beef. They probably do to a certain effect in house, and there's nice, there's a little nice juiciness to that corned beef, surprisingly so, and the usual chewiness you get from corned beef. Again, like with the tapa, two premium breakfast items, really. I mean, you can do no wrong with these for breakfast. So I have here the spicy half of our bucket. We got 4 pieces spicy and 4 pieces regular. And of course you can always tell it's spicy because they, you know, put a nice little flag for you to denote that. Now I've heard about this fried chicken. It's actually a little more spicy than your typical fried chicken. So, like if you go to the States, like the Popeye or whatever, it's kind of like a watered down spice. This is supposed to give you a bit of a kick. Well, let me give this a try. Take the fancy flag off. I'm gonna try it without any gravy first. I probably got a piece that's not, you know, well distributed with the pepper. It's just got a tiny zing to it. Again, now that I eat the spicy one, it really does remind me of Popeyes back home. And that's just the part without the gravy. But let's take a piece here. Best I can. I'll just take some. Just the skin with the gravy. And by the way, I think the gravy here is absolutely delectable. So it's kind of like what pushes it over the edge of really good fried chicken into something that's beyond that. And the more I dive into this chicken wing, I'm getting more spice. It's not absolutely super evenly distributed, but you'll get some like nice pockets of spice. It's more like a warming back heat at the back of your mouth. So it's not like total mouthfeel spicy at all. Just, a nice warming at the back of your throat. It's not super spicy, but it's really nice. And of course, keeps it interesting. And the parts that do have nice spicing, nice spice coating, still holds up well with the gravy. So it doesn't get like drowned off or anything like that. And to wash this breakfast down, I couldn't help but get some sarsi, which is a type of root beer, Filipino root beer that I grew up drinking quite a bit when I was young. I don't really drink soda much these days, but once again, I couldn't help it. I'm going to see if it kind of gives me a Proustian moment, like what Marcel Proust does to when he dips that Madeleine in tea. I'll see if I have that kind of involuntary memory overload drinking some sarsi. Here we go. Cheers. I'm taking a sip of that sarsi. It really does. It reminds me a bit of what I had in my childhood, but the old cliche that it's much better in the glass bottle absolutely holds true. So, and I'm not really getting a sort of Proustian moment here, although part of me thinks now that I probably have a home in Combray, France, and that I was, an insomniac child, a needy one at that. Yeah, it's giving me Proustian memories, but of Proust, but not of my own childhood. So, yeah. And here's the aftermath of our meal. We actually did finish everything. See, no more chicken with a piece. Now this is going to be sacrilege to some of you, but we're not actually going to finish this rice. No, we're not going to finish this rice. For a couple good reasons. Well, one big reason really is we're going to film a dinner buffet at the Shangri-La Hotel later tonight. So we need to reserve some space for all of that. But personally, if it were me, I would, if I didn't have it, I'd probably just finish it with some gravy and put it on top of the rice. Rice, again, for me, doesn't really have enough garlic flavor to really make it so notable. But, on a normal day, I'd probably just finish it with the gravy, and that'd be the end of it. And the last item, which has survived the maelstrom of our feasting, is this peach mango pie. It really is peach mango pie. It's not buko pie. So this is like one of the must-get dessert when you're here. It's supposed to be way better than any McDonald's apple pie you could ever think of. So, let me just take this out of the packaging for a bit. There it is, peeking out of its little pocket there, and let's take a taste here. I'm getting more peach than mango, so, I guess the mango just accentuates things, but it really just tastes like a good old peach pie, but well made for fast food. Now I've finished everything. Forgot to say about the mango peach pie, what I really like most about it is great filling to pastry ratio. So you're really getting your money's worth there compared to like McDonald's apple pies where there's not really much, apples to begin with and it's just nothing but syrup. You get nice bits of fruit. Mango, I don't really get much of. It really has more of a peach predominant flavor. Once again, really nice ratio on that. Yeah, definitely must order when you get here. And here at the end of our meal, it's almost near immaculate silence, actually. Now, when I first got here, this place was popping full of kids, boisterous as bonkers as it is, which kind of made filming a bit of a challenge as far as, well, at least as far as the audio is concerned. But it thinned out nicely. All the kids are on their little excursion through the Mind's Eye Museum here. Now, I don't really know too much about the Mind's Eye Museum except that there's a Van Gogh exhibition that's here as far as like special effects and so on. It's like one of those places where it's supposed to trick your eye into optical illusions, I suppose. That kind of thing. So we stepped outside the Jollibee, and here is some sort of park. It's called Science in the Park, part of the Mind's Eye Museum here in Taguig. Let me know if you've been here before and if it's worth going to. Other than that, I'm signing off for now. Have a good day, take care, and remember, the Empire, it never ended. You're looking live at a goat that is live, but in a few minutes it's really soon to make its maker,